Imagine the smell of sewers, a dead dog, trash burning, and rotten eggs, but the type of eggs that have been rotten for decades. This is the Citarum River. It's been called the most polluted river in the world, and over 15 million people are exposed to its waters every single day. Many use it to bathe and to cook. Now, this river wasn't a distant thing I learned on the news. It was actually close to home. I had seen photo after photo, video after video of a river choking on plastic that I couldn't quite take my eyes off. I was raised on the island of Bali, a picture-perfect paradise island, but over the years, plastics became something that we can no longer look away from. It's so bad that in the rainy season, our beaches are covered in plastic. So with my younger brother Sam, at 12 and 14 years old, our first instinct became to clean them up. But cleanup after cleanup, more and more plastic would wash up on the shore. So we had to ask a question. How did this plastic actually get there? It turns out that 80% of plastics in the ocean come from rivers in the first place. There are no borders between rivers and the ocean. So why not focus directly at its source, where we can still intercept this plastic? Last summer, we decided to take our cause to a whole new level by traveling down the world's most polluted river, iconically on the very materials that pollute it, plastic. We set out to build 2 plastic bottle kayaks out of 300 plastic bottles, a bamboo frame, and a recycled net. With our cameras, our mission became to create the most shocking visual, but document the reality of this problem. The Citarum is known to be as toxic as Chernobyl. It's the textile capital of Southeast Asia, and in recent years, more than 800 industries have been dumping most of the textile waste directly into the river. It's your mercury, your alkaline, your sulfur, you name it. And because of lack of waste management infrastructures, the locals throw anything that goes into their hands. It's literally the toilet of Indonesia. Our biggest challenge was going to be not to fall inside the water. So we did everything to avoid the risk of falling by adding 2 big extra gallons on the back of our kayaks for buoyancy. But we made sure to be as equipped as possible with a full-on suit to avoid water contact. This is what we look like. And you can just imagine the look on the locals' faces, thinking like we came from another world. But what we saw on the river made us actually feel like we were in another world. We witnessed mountains of trash dumped on both sides of the river. At one point, we were stuck in a plastic berg. For every stroke, plastic bags would get entangled in our paddles. There was fumes rising from the water. It was literally a black mayonnaise of toxicity. This was definitely not your gentle kayaking holiday trip. I will forever remember the moment where I saw a turtle suffocating underneath the trash, trying to make its way up. But being so overwhelmed by the conditions of the river, I felt absolutely helpless. But the worst moment by far was when I saw my brother fall into the water. Now, some of you might be wondering why he's not here today. I'm just kidding. He says hi from uni. Anyways, our kayaks became our biggest asset to interact with the local community. The idea of floating on trash was an amazing conversation starter. Kids would follow us alongside the riverbanks, so curious about how our bottles floated, and villages invited us to teach them about how to build their own kayaks. We produced a video series documenting our trip and the amazing encounters that we met along the way. We uploaded the videos on social media, sent them to everyone we knew, and within 24 hours, these videos went viral. It got picked up by international media, national media. We even made national headlines as the 2 handsome brothers cleaning up the river. I quite like that title, to be honest. But our message was heard. 2 weeks after completing the expedition, the Indonesian Ministry of the Environment invited us to declare a on-camera emergency cleanup. And 4 months later, the Indonesian president announced that he was in full support of the cleanup. We were very honored to meet Mr. Jokowi during the launch of the cleanup. So, what do you think of that? The term, do you think it's possible for it to be clean again?
Gary, you will see that Chitarum River in 7 years will be the cleanest river.
Since then, 7,000 troops have been deployed on a full-scale cleanup. The army is even living with communities along the river to teach them about better waste management strategies. They're committed to planting over 120 million trees to revive the Chitarum ecosystem. We're currently monitoring the cleanup and going back regularly, and we are already starting to see big change. The water is starting to look better. They've closed down over 70 industries. Through this expedition, I learned that the tools we all have at our fingertips gives anyone the power to create change. So today, I'm not asking you to take on the next polluted river, but to be bold in fighting for what you believe in. To be bold because we can no longer sit back and watch as our planet gets destroyed. Thank you.